last event that you guys did, not at the friend's place, but the one at your actual office,
the Christmas one,
where I was talking about doing the banners, right?
Yes.
Like I do banners in my office for the conference room. It's part of me, right? Like I want you guys to be a part of anytime I have an event here. Hey, TrustMark is one of the companies that I trust, right?
Yes.
I go use them. So it's not just myself or my agents, but I get other brokerages and other agents in here, you know? So I think that that's a big part of it. And that's why I wanted you guys on the show, both of you on the show, is because we literally started our relationship, our connection from networking.
Yep. And that's like, I mean, it's crazy. A lot of people, you think we deal in real estate, and a lot of real estate is through social media, but there's a lot of relationships built, you know, in social media. And when you think about an order, you get an order, and as a title company, you get an order and you're like, if I didn't have that personal connection with somebody, it would be like, oh, it's just another number. You have to have that. I have to care. If you don't care and I don't have a connection, it is hard for me to, you know, push through and be like, no, that needs to make sure that it gets to the next point on this deadline. No ifs, ands, or buts. You have to have those connections. And that's why anybody that we do business with, those connections are very important. So the networking part of it, going back to your original question, why it's so important, that's why it's so important.
Oh,
the networking is the relationships that are built. It is the trust that it's built. It's the friendships that are built. There's not one time that we go to an event with anyone that we don't have some kind of relationship built with, and that's very important to us.
Oh, I agree. But it's not even, and I see it with the people that you guys have in your company, right? Like talking to Samantha, you and your husband have been together since middle school. Yeah. Like that's a connection you can't just get away from, right? That's a big part of you. That's something that people know about you when they actually talk to you and get to know you, is you have that love for your husband that you've been with since middle school. That's insane. Like, I don't like my kids for a week. Like, I'm good, right? I'm good. Like, no, like, but that it really is. It's a big part of it, right? Yeah. And that's what makes me want to be a part of your guys' company and you guys itself, is because you're genuine, right? You have that soul. You have
for a good time.
It's the flowers. It's the flowers.
I got batteries.
So I do. I want to see people like us grow, right? And that takes us having that connection, right? And it's not just with you, it's with everyone in your office. Like I can walk through your office and
100%.
I talk to every one of them, right? Like I call Megan Trouble, like that's her nickname. She's just trouble. But that's what I love, is I want that connection. I want that true spark that makes this whole thing work, right?
Yeah. It's we're a small company. We're not a nationwide company. We're a small company, but we also take a lot of pride in that because we consider ourselves a boutique company, but every one of us has to really be involved emotionally and physically. It takes, each one of us are pulling but we're also kind of like intertwined. And if there's one person that can't do it in our office, always somebody that can back up, but
it's a team.
Yeah, it's a team. And the person down, at the end of the hallway or at the other end of the hallway knows exactly what's going on with your transaction as much as I do.
Right.
And we're all emotionally involved. We all have a relationship with you. And there's not going to be a time where Christmas doesn't come around and, hey, text message, Merry Christmas,
Oh, absolutely.
And it's just, the relationships are huge. Huge.
I think a lot of people don't understand how much it really means, right?
Yeah.
When I opened my brokerage, that was my whole thing, is networking, right? Like I wanted to base my business off of networking, word of mouth, social media, and that's what I've done, right? Like, and I even, when you went to TrustMark, you met with me, or like,
first person
how
I met with.
Like, what do I do? And I told you, be yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
And I want to point on that. And I know you and I have talked about that several times, but I had switched companies. And it was a huge thing for me. But I called you literally days after I transferred. And I called you and I was like, I just want to make sure that I do this right.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me the best advice. But that's what friends do. I can call someone and be like, listen, I need you to emotionally support me here. Like, how do I do this right? And you were there every step of the way. Every step of the way.
You have to be. You really do. Like, that's not everybody understands that business side of it, right? Is because they don't know how to genuinely run a business. Because as a realtor, right? I don't care what brokerage you work for, it's your business. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
But if you can't run your business and be yourself, you're probably going to fail. Just in my my 2 cents, right? I'm not one of those brokers. I'm not one of those realtors that's going to go out there and knock on doors and call 100 different leads. Be like, hey, TrustMark, why don't you spend some money and I'll call these leads that I never talked to, right?
Yeah.
No, because there's no connection there, right? In my mind, there's no connection there.
Right.
I want to build my business on connections, on networking, on relationships, right? And that's not something that's easy for some people. And I think there's a lot of people that get into this business that think, oh, I'm good with people, blah, 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 until they have to bring the business aspect to it.
I think you have to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think you
absolutely.
have to be 100% vulnerable. I think you have to be raw. I think you have to be okay with who you are. And you and I talked about this earlier, being okay with not everybody's going to like you. And your
those.
Literally, my son, not even joking, my son was like, I feel so bad for Gabe. But I think you have to be okay with being yourself and that you're not going to be for everybody. And that's the whole point of having options in an office that you share, some person's going to be better for, this closer or some person.
Absolutely.
But always go into it with an open heart and be willing to listen to everybody. I mean, it's hard. We market so much and we try to get out there as much as possible and meet as many people as we can. You have all different types of personalities. Some are not going to be for me. Some are going to be more for Sam, but the thing is that let me just be real. We genuinely give a shit.
Yeah.
But you want to make a connection, right?
Yes, that's the goal. Yeah.
Our production manager, Mike, that's what me and him talked about, right? Like, the event that we're doing on March 7th with you guys, that you guys are sponsoring, is one of the topics was how do you do so much business and how do you do it successfully, right? It's my connections, right? Because at the end of the day, if there's an issue with title, right? Let's just say there's an issue with title. I'm probably going to call you at 7:30 at night and be like, hey, what's going on, Brittany? Like, tell me, like, whenever you get a chance, stop, take a look, call me back, right? Yeah. But that's something that I have with you, right? Yes. Otherwise, come 5 o'clock, guess what?
And
that phone's off, right? If I don't have that connection with you, if I can't call Sam or message Sam, hey, I'm on Facebook. I see you. I see you liking my pictures.
I see that green dot.
Like, you better answer that question, like, right? Yeah. Like, you have to have that connection, and I think that's so important. Yes. So important.
It's relying on somebody. It's relying on them for all things.
Oh, absolutely.
For all things.
Yep. So, okay, let me ask you both separately. Tell me something that no one knows about you.
Oh gosh, this is PG, right?
We can tell the Five Guys story.
Oh, it was a really good cheeseburger.
Spare everyone that story.
Oh gosh, I was a competitive swimmer in water polo for 15 years.
Really?
Yes. My dream was to go into the 2000 Olympics.
And why did you not?
Oh, freaking boys.
It goes back to that Five Guys story.
I mean, the cheeseburger was
We
good.
didn't mean the cheeseburgers, by the way.
Yeah, my dream was to go to USC, and I did competitive swimming and water polo for years, and it's literally probably the place that I feel like I'm 100% dominant in is the water.
Okay. What about you, Samantha?
I actually played college softball. I grew up playing softball all my life, and yeah, I went to Rose State and played softball there. And I, like Gabe said earlier, I've been with my husband since 7th grade.
Jesus, how many years?
Oh gosh. Okay, so this year it will be 22 years.
Whew. Congratulations.
Oh, ball and
Congratulations.
chain, yeah.
Me and my wife are going on 13 years. Jesus. Yeah, 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So not as long as you,
Congratulations.
but Jesus, that's
Yeah.
it's a big accomplishment. Big
It
accomplishment.
is. I mean, we grew up together, so
So yeah. So okay, tell me, what is something that you guys want people to know, like about you for your company? Like what do you want them to know that is of value?
I think that, I mean, Sam and I,
Yeah.
we're really close friends to start out with.
I've learned
And
that tonight.
you're welcome.
Surprise.
Surprise.
Still have a cheeseburger left. But we're really good friends. But I think one thing we talk a lot about business outside of the 8 to 5.
Okay.
We take it very seriously. And I think that for us, again, what this whole thing is about, I think for us is the emotional connection and the relationships. We talk about it all the time.
Mhm.
Like it's very, very important to us. Again, we're a small company. We're not, it's every person that comes through there is not just a number that comes through. It's very personal to us.
Well, the one thing that I like about you guys is the fact that, one, you are personable, but if someone genuinely wants some help, like myself, I do a lot of events. That's how I promote my company. That's how I promote business. Everything is events, but you participate with it, right? Like even on the event that we have coming on March 7th, you guys are help sponsoring that, right? But that goes back to the realtors, right? It goes back to the realtors that maybe need a little bit of information that they want to ask us questions, right? I mean, I think that I'm one of the probably easiest people to approach and talk to, but maybe some people don't feel that way, right? Maybe they're scared to come talk to me, but we're allowing this type of event for those people to come, right? So I think that shows a lot of heart from you guys that you're willing to do that type of event.
A closing is and to us, we're, realtor and title company. A closing is something that, you get in a couple of times a day, or you guys have a couple transactions, a month or 10, however many. That is how I look at it. Is I have this single mom, and this is my very first closing, and I'll never forget this. I had a single mom for my very first closing that I ever did. And she was so worried about, she's like, it's an older house, but I bought it for me and my babies. And I cried with her. Because it's so relatable, because I've been there. And it was Shark Week that week. But it's you get emotionally tied. These closings that you have and these customers that come in and those people that sit directly across from you that you're having signing documents, that's a big moment for them.
It's a big moment for anyone, right? Like, I think that's my thing, is that I don't care how much money you're spending, right? Because if someone's spending $90,000, right, on a house, that's a lot of money to them.
Yes.
At that point, that's a huge, huge deal for them, right? Because it is an American dream to own a home.
Correct.
If they can afford $90,000 and that's what they're able to do, let's celebrate it.
Yeah,
right? Because
100%.
that is a huge accomplishment. And just like I tell a lot of people that are in that same situation, it's not their very last home, right? This is your stepping stone to building wealth, to building that equity, building a life and a future that you can grow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I bought my house, it was a big deal for me. I was on the other end of it. And Lindsay Bunch, she was the realtor and she walked me through every step. And there was, again, you have, which I'm sure you have a lot with your buyers and sellers, this emotional thing. Like it's an emotional connection. Lindsay walked me through every part of it. It was scary for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, it was scary,
Right.
But she walked me through every part of it. And I have an emotional connection to her because of it, which I'm sure you have. But that's what makes it different is that emotional connection. It's that I can count on you. I can rely on you.
I think you have to be upfront with people, right?
100%.
Like I'm one of them people, like I don't get attached to a home, right? Like I'll walk through a home and I'll pick it apart because I see the things that are wrong with it, right? Where a lot of people walk into a house and they're like, oh, I love it, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm not that guy. Like I'm going to walk through the house and be like, hey, there's something wrong, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I will tell you, yes, it can be fixable, whatever. But I think it takes that person that can, I'm not just trying to sell you a home, right? I want you to be able to call me when you're ready to sell that home and buy another one, right? But if I treat you bad on the first one and I can't treat you right and you don't remember me, did I really make any money?
Yeah.
Because I don't make a whole lot of money on the first transaction, right? Your money is when it's a repeat customer, right? It's that connection that they said, hey, Brittney, you should call Gabe. Like when you're ready to buy a house, you should call Gabe, right? Because if that doesn't come out of someone's mouth, we're not getting that second business.
That I think in as far as your business goes, I think, and I guess ours too, but I think when people get to experience that they can rely, trust, and believe in the whole process, and you feel that, like you genuinely feel that. Yeah. When somebody refers, that referral is just bigger than a referral.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
I say referral, but I don't feel like it genuinely says what it means, because that's me saying, you don't have to worry with this person. Like I'm telling you, you don't have to worry with, and that's huge.
That's part of that connection. It's part of that connection, part of that networking that is the base of my business, right? That's how I've grown my business. I've been in the top Oklahoma City 500 since 2019.
Whoop, whoop.
Like that's a huge accomplishment.
100%.
For anyone to be in the top 500 is massive, but to be able to consistently do it every year, that means that I've got people that trust me enough to refer me, to call me back, right? But in turn, when I get that person, I can send them back to those people, right? Like, hey, you just did a client for me that they barely spoke any English, right? We got them through it. We were able to handle it. You don't think that they're not going to come back when they're ready?
Right.
Yeah, they're going to come back. They loved it. They enjoyed it. But that's where it comes. That's where that connection comes back into play.
I 100% agree. I think you have to, again, I can't stress enough how much you have to care. You have to care. Yeah. Again, going back to what you said on you calling, text messaging, we give our cell phone numbers out, not just because we like hand them out like Oprah and gifts, but you get a call and you get a call. No, but
just hand out your Snapchat. You're good.
Baby Jesus. No pics, please.
It disappears.
I know that. But I think it has like a lot to do with if you call us at, whether it's Sam, me, anyone in the office, if you call us, like you were saying, at 8:30, I want to be able to, I don't want you, and I say this all the time, I don't want you to go to bed and have to worry about something that I could answer for you or your clients that they're going to be completely just like worried about all night.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's a big part of it, and I tell people that even with a lender, right? Like if they pick someone, you need to pick someone that you can talk to, right? If you can't talk to them, because most people that are buying a house are probably a worker that works from 9 to 5, 8 to 5, whatever it is.
Exactly.
And the questions come up when they get home, right?
100%.
After the lender or the finance company, whoever it is closed. And now they're like, hey, what do I do? And they're asking me, and I tell people, I don't do financing. Like, I don't want to know your personal information. I have no business. I don't care. not trying to be mean, but you need to be able to talk to someone that
The
you
lender.
can connect with when you're available.
Right.
And that's usually not 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, right?
Mhm.
Because when we show houses, when is it? In the evenings,
Mhm.
on Saturday, on Sunday, right? Yes, we do some during the day, but the majority of them are at night,
Yes.
right? So that's when they have those questions. When they get done looking at a house, now they're like, hey, what's my payment going to be? Hey, do you know what the taxes are on this thing? Hey, do you know if there's an HOA on this thing? Hey, let me call Brittany. Brittany will find out for me, right? Because we need to know,
And
right? And that's the thing that people don't understand is if I don't have that connection and they don't have that connection with me, they worry about that, right? And now they're going to sleep at night and they have something bugging them.
that
It's not okay.
No, that part, we've talked about it so many times. That part sits so heavy with me because I don't want somebody, again, you always kind of relate to your experiences. And I don't want anybody to have to lose sleep or be stressed out. It shouldn't be as stressful. You're going to have hiccups and stuff
Right.
like that. But everybody in the process of real estate all work together. And if we can make it easiest on the person that's going through it, realtors, buyers, sellers, lenders, whoever, if we all work together, it doesn't need to be a tricky process or anything. We can make it as smooth as possible. You're going to have hiccups. You're going to have oops. Nobody's perfect, but communication, being transparent,
Yes.
all of that. And at the end of the day, making your client feel like that day was the most amazing day ever.
Absolutely. And even with the hiccups, right?
Yeah.
Most customers, if you're doing your job right, never even know it,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because that's something that me and you are able to squash and fix before it ever gets to
And that's the
problem.
great thing about communication when you have those relationships,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not going to be scared to tell you, okay, man, I screwed up.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
I want to fix this. I screwed up. I'm going to fix it.
You're right.
Right.
I'm a problem solver, right?
Mhm.
Hey, tell me what's wrong. Let me figure it out.
Right.
Okay. I'll
And
call you back, whatever.
That's those, again, I mean, going back to it's those relationships. It's
Mhm.
having those built friendships, those built relationships. It is family.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
it really ends up in that. It really ends up in becoming a family because I have to trust you as much as you have to trust me.
Yep. So, okay. So tell me, how can they reach you guys if they have any questions? If someone wants to reach out and ask you about title, or maybe they want to put someone else on the deed that, it was a
You'll
one
have a
night stand.
Yeah.
So
They
again,
lost it in a bet.
You can email us at, my personal email is bcampbell@trustmarktitle.com. My cell phone number, which again, going back to that, I feel like that's very important to give, is 405-446-6535. Text me, call me. I don't care if it's 10. And I stress that because I feel like that is extremely important for you guys to realize that I am here for you to walk through the end of the transaction and even after that. Because some people will have questions after that, and
absolutely.
I want to be there.
Because sometimes people don't always go on title right at the first one.
Right.
Right. Like
Right.
maybe they have a spouse or someone that's not on the originating loan.
Or they'll want to put it in their trust
Whatever.
afterwards.
Absolutely.
And it's not just, I mean, again, it's not just the transaction in itself, like you were saying. It's those little things after that. You have questions after that. Just call us, email us, text us, call me. We are here
Snap.
for you. Rippy. We are here for
That's
you.
feetfinders.com.
Only on Sundays. We are here for you. Again, 7 days a week, 365. You said it. You did a video, and I took this very much to heart. I am obsessed with what I do.
Mhm.
I am obsessed with what I do. I genuinely love the people that I get to work with. I genuinely love Sam. I genuinely love what I do. If I can help somebody, whatever I can do, that is literally something that I'm obsessed with.
So the obsession, right? That is my word for the year,
Mhm.
right? Because I believe that you have to be obsessed
Oh, I
You have to
loved
be
that video that
obsessed
you did.
with
Yeah.
what you're doing, right? Like I love helping people buy, sell, remodel, doesn't matter. I truly want to help someone.
Right.
And it does not matter what price point they're at, because like I said at the very beginning, that's a lot of money for those people. No matter the price point, it's a lot of money, right? If it's $1 million, if it's $90,000, I'm still going to treat you the exact same way, no matter what. That's how it should be.
Absolutely.
So that's where I get the obsessed from, is because it's in my heart. It's how I work every single day. And I am obsessed with not only myself being successful, but anyone that's in my circle.
Yes. You said that, and you did a pot, or it was a video or something like that. And man,
we both were talking about it.
Yes, because it was so true. Like you have to, I think Sam and I are we both take this job very seriously, and seriously in a way that we're both extremely passionate about loving on people and meeting people and being a part of people.
You have to be accessible.
Right.
You really do. You have to be accessible, because, and I hate to say it, but there's a lot of people that quote unquote look at our industry and they think that you're not approachable, right? You're not someone can be just your everyday person, right? Me and Mike, we met because I was supporting one of my buddies here locally at his shop. He told me what he was doing, and I was like, dude, like this has been on my mind, this freaking podcast, for a long time. And I reached out to him. I was like, dude, you help me, right? It's that connection that I've built with him, and he came and helped, right? This became true because of him, because I made that connection. But I've built that relationship now. Me and him can sit here and BS and have fun, but we can still get the work done. Right?
Yes.
That's what is the biggest connection, the biggest networking that will bring you success. And it's being obsessed with what you do. This dude travels all over the US. He's taking the time out to come here. Like, that's huge.
You poor soul.
Basically to, close out the show, I just wanted to say thank you, ladies, for joining.
Thank you.
I very much appreciate it. And like I say, if there's anything that you want to say, shout it out right now and have at it. If not, we'll, close her up.
I think, I guess I want to say that, again, we're a small group, but we have probably just a great group of women and men.
Yeah.
We have a couple in
Shout
there.
out Jordan.
Shout out Jordan.
He's our bilingual.
Our bilingual closer. But there's no way that any of us could do any of this without each other.
It's definitely a team effort.
It's 100% a team effort.
Mm-hmm.
So, and thank you to Gabe.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
We love
You're
you.
welcome.
We
You're welcome.
absolutely love you.